One Piece, Chapter 2. They call him Straw Hat Luffy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome once again to Jim's Nerd Nation. I, of course, am Jim, doing a review today here for everyone in the nation on One Piece. This is going to be Chapter 2. I don't have the individual chapters, though. I am reading them from the volumes. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Hopefully everybody's following along and had seen my first impressions and initial review on Chapter 1. The way I'm doing it, because I'm new to the genre and to One Piece in general, is instead of reading a ton of chapters and getting facts and people and names confused, I'm doing one and then I'm recording my first impressions and, trying to put out reviews based on that. So, without further ado, let's dive right into Chapter 2. This chapter, and the first one, my review was a little bit longer because initially you got to get some of those thoughts out about the characters, the story, the background, and the first chapter was 55, 56 pages, whereas the second chapter is a standard format, which is going to be about 20 to 25. I'm assuming, and from what I can see from looking in in the volume. So it starts out. Luffy has gone out on his journey. We left him at the end of Chapter 1, doing his gum pistol punch to the Tic-Tac Croc-looking beast. And this one starts out with him smiling and just being happy-go-lucky and having a great old day. And he seems to be happy about being sucked into a whirlpool. I didn't know if this was a dream at first or what, but he's talking to himself and saying things like, well, it doesn't matter if I could swim because I'd be dead anyway. So, anyway, it winds up going and cutting to the next panel, and we wind up seeing for the first time, and hopefully the last time, this Iron-Mace Alvida. She's a female pirate, and I hate to keep referring back to Disney movies here, but I'm the oldest of 6 kids, so growing up, I watched all of them ad nauseum, whether I wanted to or not. But she reminds me of a cross between the evil queen from Snow White, the one that keeps talking to the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, and she needs the reassurance from the mirror all the time that she's the fairest. This woman's the same way, but the way she's drawn also, she's this big, giant, fat pig of a woman, and I mean, I'm talking orca fat. I'm talking slap the hip and ride the wave. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to roll her in flour and look for the wet spots. High school picture was an aerial photograph, that type of big. But aside from that, because big girls need love too, so I'm not trying to make fun of them. The character's just drawn to be this very ugly character, and of course, not just the way she's drawn, but the personality that she has. She also looks like and reminds me of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. The crazy, off with their heads, So, but at any rate, though, we wind up opening up then and meeting this Iron-Mace Alvida. We find that she's just a real angry woman. And Coby is a character that we're introduced to. And Coby is he's the cabin boy for her, and he's got glasses, and he just kind of seems like he's a little bit quiet and on the nerdier side. He doesn't have the balls to stand up to her, so and neither does any of her crew for that matter. She's constantly saying, who's the fairest pirate on the sea, and they all go, you are. And it's funny because you don't actually even see her for the first couple of panels while people are saying this. So you're thinking, okay, maybe this is this gorgeous pirate. And she's bitching and complaining to Coby about how the ship has to be, spick and span and as beautiful as she is. And then they show her and you're like, oh my God. She's probably like a 500-pounder. She's a big one. So at any rate, as the chapter progresses here, you wind up, Luffy winds up popping up out of a barrel. And apparently he, I guess, went down the whirlpool, and they don't tell us exactly, but he appears. Yeah, he's there on shore at her hideout amongst her and the pirates. And anyway, he winds up talking with Coby. Coby kind of gives him this whole sob story of, I've been a cabin boy for a couple years, and, he wants to be in the Navy. He took 2 years building this dinghy, and I just love saying the word dinghy. My 6-year-old gets a kick out of it because he thinks whenever he says it, even though he might be referring to a small boat, he thinks he's referring to his penis. So, so at any rate, it's an ongoing joke in our family. But nonetheless, though, he's built this dinghy, and he's all too willing. Within 2 minutes of meeting Luffy, our hero Luffy, he's all too willing to just give up and give him this boat and say, here you go, you can take this. And he says, but you spent 2 years on it. Why would you just give it to me? And he says, well, I'm never going to have the courage to do it myself. And I can definitely identify with and understand that, because there was a period of time in my own life where where there was a lot of different things that I didn't think were good enough, or would contribute to the world or to others, and was worried about others' opinions. So there's certainly a lot of parallels that can be drawn already just within a couple of chapters to our own lives, and I think that's what's going to be the great the great ongoing theme in the story. Is it's not going to be about the end. It's going to be about the journey and about the characters that we meet along the way, and the personalities and how they deal with conflict and things like that. So anyway, we find out from Coby that his dream is to be in the Navy, and this is after Luffy tells him that his dream is to be the king of pirates, And he says, oh, geez, you're not going to be the king of pirates. What are you talking about? This is the golden age of pirates, and you're going to try to be the king amongst them, And here, of course, he's this character who can't swim, because of eating the gum fruit, which we found out in the first chapter. So, nonetheless, things escalate very quickly when Lady Alvida, overhears Coby talking, to Luffy. She thinks that, that he's actually hired an assassin, a bounty hunter, to come get her, and basically just kind of gets real loud and strong-armed and in everybody's face and starts throwing around idle threats. Luffy doesn't take any of that stuff, and I think this is going to be one of his special moves, because then all of a sudden we get a nice spread and panel that says gum pistol, and he pops her and knocks her ass out, and everybody in the crew is just going, you gotta be kidding me. Wow, that's great. I mean, these guys have probably all wanted to flatten this broad, and he's the one who did it. So ultimately he says, he looks over and he says, hey, get my man Coby here a dinghy, he wants to be in the Navy. And they're all going, yes, sir, So it shows you how many people can, it also draws from the parallel that people a lot of times are sheep, man, and they just fall in line. I mean, you think about it. How many times have you believed something was truth and followed blindly just because someone that you know, admire, or trust said it to be so? Without doing any research, without drawing any conclusions or opinions on your own, you've been like, okay, man, I'm going to do it this way. So there's a lot of that goes on. So the chapter was good all in all. It wound up, ending up on, I think, a high note, and Luffy and Coby are setting off on their journey, and Luffy also hears of this pirate, for the life of me I cannot pronounce the name, Rororzo. I'll get it in the next one, but I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna practice it a few times. But it's this person's locked up, and Luffy says, hey, maybe we can go and let him out, and he can be part of my crew, because to be the king of pirates and to find the treasure, to find the One Piece, I'm going to need the best crew in the world. So it ends up with with both of them setting out in a boat. We can presume this ship is we can only presume that it's Alvida's and that they've taken it. And definitely looking forward to diving into the next chapter. So let me know what your comments and thoughts are. I know that many of you have been commenting already that, hey, we've read this and you're just giving a synopsis. And ultimately, I am new to the community, new to manga in general, and I try to kind of give my own background and opinions as I'm giving a recap of the story. You may see what I read and saw completely different as well. You may not agree with some of the things, even in my last review when I talked about how it's harder to walk away and to not, fight. And like I said, difference in opinion, man, is what makes the world go round. So leave some comments or a like, subscribe if you haven't done already, and we will catch you in the next one for Chapter 3. Take it easy, everyone in the nation. Hey, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the review, and thanks again for watching. Please click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and also, if you'd like, on the left there is a my review of One Piece Chapter 1, and on the right, one of my reviews for Attack on Titan. Catch you in the next one.